Good evening. My name is Cadet Reed, and this is Cadet Way. And today we'll be briefing you guys on what it takes to be a signal officer. I'm going to be passing it off to Cadet Way.
Hello, I'm Cadet Way, and today we're going to be talking about the history of the Signal Corps. We're going to be talking about the branch talent priorities to become a signal officer. We're going to talk about the career progression and rank requirements. We're also talking about the challenges in the branch and contribution to the force, the responsibilities, and the overall requirements in order to be a signal officer. Slide, please.
To begin, the history of the Signal Corps was founded in the 21st century and bears little resemblance to the organization founded by Major Albert J. Meyer, a Union officer. In 1860, at the beginning of the Civil War, although the United States Army was the first fight in the world to have a separate communications branch, the legislation authorizing its establishment provided neither nor permanent personnel nor units. Cadet Way.
So also on top of the history, we have in the 19th century, we saw the change of the Signal Corps by employing the telephone, the heliograph, and observation balloons to best fit their needs. And then, and during both World Wars, we also saw the Signal Corps adopt the design and implementation of radio technology, radar, and sonar. And in modern day today, we have the technological communications, information systems, including computers, programs, internet, satellite and global positioning systems, cellular interface, and voice and data communications in order to effectively apply the Signal Corps branch. Slide, please.
So some branch priorities include the purpose of the Signal Corps, the 25 series, designs, builds, configures, secures, operates, maintains, and sustains the Army's portion of the Department of Defense. Information networks consisting of communication networks, information services, in addition to visual effects, visual information support, spectrum management operations worldwide, and support of the United States and multinational forces at all levels of command. Get that way.
So here we have just a general graphic of the intelligences, skills, knowledge, behaviors, and talent priorities that is expected of a signal officer. For the intelligences, we have the interpersonal, logical, and mathematical, and spatial competencies. And then for some of the skills, the general idea of the skill of a signal officer is to be able to lead soldiers and organizations, to provide a dynamic communication network and information systems, enabling mission command from the national command authority to the tactical edge. And also, furthermore, it's important to be able to apply those education and those understandings and those systems to a level that a individual can understand throughout the entire concept of the operation. So in other words, trying to break that down onto the soldier level is an important skill for a signal officer to have. Some of the knowledge that's expected of a signal officer is in order to have the relevant education and training and experience that comes with the responsibilities. So some of those educations may be a specific academic background or from a discipline or a major from a university or college. Some of those programs include organizational leadership and management, applied sciences and engineering, computer science and computer systems and technology, and among others, such as electrical engineering and information operations and information systems. And some of those training and experiences that are important are to have the cadet troop leading time, the leader development time, to have the academic enrichment program with higher education, and to also have research agencies with degree field of study in order to expand on that experience. We also have the behaviors. As we have a list of behaviors there, obviously they're kind of meant to be very general, since just as an officer as a whole, you have expected behaviors or attitudes or characteristics that you're supposed to demonstrate on behalf of the Army. So as you see, a long list there. And one of the also important talent priorities we have among that list of behaviors is to be mentally tough. So to be stress tolerant and emotionally mature, given a multitude of situations. There's also to be interpersonal, relating back to those intelligences. In other words, you need to be able to connect with others to affect positive results. We also have talent priority being technologically adept. So you have to understand and comfortably use the latest technologies given in the field and the research we have at that time. We also need to be a problem solver in order to best be able to choose between the best practices and unorthodox approaches to reach a solution. in order to accomplish the task. You need to be a multitasker, and you also need to have domain-specific education on that specific area of expertise for the Department of Defense Information Networks. Slide, please. Some of the officer characteristics required is understanding the ComSec as the essential capability of signal support. And another important role is to not only be able to integrate your knowledge and expertise with the enlisted personnel below you, but also to best utilize the warrant officers and specialists you have with you. And some of those roles that should be familiar to the signal officer should be the 255 Alpha, the 255 November, and the 255 Sierra specific jobs and roles. And as you can see there, those relate back to some of the core competencies, which is you need to be able to focus on the Department of Defense Information Network operations, focus on network transport and information services, focus on spectrum management operations, and as mentioned earlier, to provide visual information operations, such as graphic depictions and data plots. Slide, please.
So a quick career progression. Initially, signal officers are lieutenants to gain leadership, which is their main focus is for newly commissioned officers to branch technical and technological skills to develop a warrior's ethos and gain important leadership experience and company grade assignments. Throughout an officer's career, the model highlights the need to JM experience and exposure. At the end of this presentation, there will be a model that shows officers may complete in a voluntary transfer, a VTAC program, once an officer or lieutenant promotable. What the heck? Sorry about that. A senior captain and field grade officers should strive for training and assignments that will broaden their development skills necessary to lead the Army into the future. As Cadet Way addressed previously, the Army is an ever-growing field, and to stay stagnant would be to be left in the past. In doing this, you learn lifelong training supported by civilian and military education provides critical opportunities to develop you both in joint and expeditionary competencies. I'm sorry. These competencies are needed by officers in expeditionary force, regional knowledge, cultural awareness, foreign language, diplomacy, statesmanships, and so forth. To begin, you start off as a lieutenant. The first thing you will attend is the SBULLOC, which is 16 weeks. Lieutenants are usually assigned the position of battalion level S6 after they attend the battalion X6 officer course at Fort Gordon in Georgia. Self-development is a key in all of these. As you will see, it's one of the points that's always listed. Self-development lieutenants should focus on acquiring and refining troop leading procedures, coordination and logistics, technical and administrative skills, as well as signal unique technical skills required to plan, install, operate, maintain signal equipment and systems. In addition to that, the branch unique skills, signal lieutenants should also be more proficient in common core tasks. After you have been promoted to captain, you will attend a SCCC, which is 20 weeks, which is the captain's career course. You're usually held a battalion S6. Some key leadership positions are at a captain, our company and detachment command, battalion S6, as stated earlier, security forces assignment team, signal mentor or an advisor. Self-development for a captain. Captain should begin working on a graduate level education in an IT related discipline and obtain industry certifications related to networking, computing environment, information assurance, and other pertinent disciplines as the opportunity presents itself. After you have been promoted from captain to major, you will be given the rank, you'll be given the position of brigade, group, or regimentary S6, battalion XO, battalion or brigade S3. Some self-developments for majors should include a graduate level education program in an IT related discipline. As for the captain, certifications related to networking, information assurance, and other pertinent disciplines as opportunity presents itself. So it's a reoccurring theme is the Army wants to see you improving and not being backwards. Like we said, to be stagnant means to be left in the past. When you hit the rank of lieutenant colonel, education, again, so your new rank, your new position can be signal battalion commander, garrison commander, or recruiting battalion, or one of the ones listed below. Again, your self-development should include completion of a master's degree in IT field. Industry certification should be pursued. Officers should also stay in current industry trends through trade associates and journals. Here's a good glance of the career progression model. So the challenges and challenges and branches affecting Army ops. So the point of the Signal Corps aids in the Army operation concepts by maintaining the Army's voice, data, information systems, making tactical decisions, coordinating employment of soldiers at all levels of command. 3 challenges they might face would include responsible for Army networks and information systems, establishing communications and signals to connect to forces across a multitude of areas of interest, computers, systems, and network security antagonist hackers. Lastly, here are the responsibilities of a Signal Corps officers, and Cadet Way will explain this to you.
So some of the responsibilities include to provide and manage the communication and information systems, also to encompass all aspects of planning, designing, installing of the overall communication links, computers, and other components, to integrate user-owned and operated systems into the networks. In other words, to make sure that we have the other communication devices interfacing with each other. We also need to be able to plan, install, operate, and maintain the voice and data communications, as well as the multi-channel satellite, single channel, and other related systems. We need to integrate tactical, strategic, and sustaining based communications in terms of implementing for mission command for the Army, joint, and coalition operations. We also need to provide a myriad of state-of-the-art real-time voice and data tactical information systems. Signal officers should also be responsible for the Army's portion of the Department of Defense Information Network and its interface with the technical signal elements at theater, corps, and below units. And together with the Air Force, Space Force, and Navy counterparts, the Signal Corps manages, directs the joint operation of the global information grid, serving the Department of Defense and the National Command Authority. At all levels, the Signal Corps provides communications and information systems and networks to provide the nation's forces across the entire operations spectrum. Slide, please. And so in conclusion, we talked about the history of the Army Signal Corps. We also talked about the requirements that stem from information, communication, and network systems. We talked about the Signal Corps and the various intelligences, skills, knowledge, behaviors, and attributes critical for the job. We talked about career progression, the Army operational concept, the 3 challenges a signal officer face, and the responsibilities of a signal officer. I believe that concludes all the information in order to become a signal officer. Thank you very much for your time.